Hello, everybody. Long time no see. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jacqueline Bowen Busato, and I live with two major chronic diseases. That of obesity. I had a gastric bypass 3.5 years ago, almost to the day, and also autoimmune Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism. Now, I blog about my life, and I know that I've been quite absent for quite some time. That's basically because I really felt stopped in my tracks and not able to get past just delivering in terms of what I needed to do for my day-to-day job and pay my bills. In the meantime, we also moved house. So I'm vlogging to you today from my even deeper in Flanders home office. I decided to really instigate my self-care Wednesdays as well, but more about that another time. And you'll sometimes see me vlogging from my Brussels office, where I'm actually sitting for the majority of the week. But on a Wednesday, I need to recharge those batteries and make sure that I can finish the week in a very strong fashion, both physically as well as mentally. So let's cut to it. So today I actually want to talk about something really important about numbers, and not the ones that you're thinking about, but it's actually more about the value of quality of life measurements that I personally go by. Which are quite, and I would say also some quite perturbing experiences that I've had, which I would also like to share with you as a word to the warning and or wise. So there's three areas that I actually want to cover. The first one is resting heart rate versus weight. So the scale. The second one I'm going to talk about is inflammation and cortisol versus weight. And the final one is about nutrient bioavailability versus calorie counting. So, obviously, these are both related to hypothyroidism and obesity, and quite frankly, any other chronic disease that you're dealing with, like depression or any mental health issues as well. So let's talk about resting heart rate, shall we? So my perturbing experience, first of all, has been that I was sitting in a presentation the other day talking about a new system that's going to be rolled out in the province of Antwerp, where I live, in a not too distant future, which looks at kind of pre-screening for patients dealing with symptoms of chronic diseases, one of which being obesity, which actually was really encouraging. However, one of the points that was made in the presentation is that they actually, which in itself is a good thing, is pay for performance outcomes. So looking at what's your actual health outcome, both as a patient as well as health professionals, as opposed to the number of interventions. And it's something I really care about and I'm working on in my professional life. Now, what absolutely stunned me and showed that there had just been a lack of really talking with people like me, so patients who actually have to live with these various conditions and diseases, was that the target that was set for weight pay for performance was actually number of pounds or kilos lost. That is absolutely horrendous. So I did speak up at the time because I said, did you realize that actually focusing on the scale is very anxiety causing, which raises cortisol, which can raise blood pressure because of anxiety, which actually makes people like me want to comforty and then give up. And again, it's about personal responsibility rather than actually a shared societal responsibility that has its roots in biological causes. So what I actually started to measure for myself using my trusty Fitbit is my resting heart rate, because I worked out that the more that I did what I'm supposed to be doing as my part of the deal, managing my health, actually my heart rate went down. Every time I would eat sugar, which quite frankly doesn't like me and certainly doesn't like my two chronic diseases, I would not only get immediate palpitations, but my heart rate would go up by about 3 points overnight. So I set myself the goal to reach a sustained resting heart rate of 60. So for my age group, so late 40s as a woman, so-called healthy is between 60 and 100. I actually want to hit 60 because what it means is that I'm fit, I'm healthy, I'm able to get through my day, I'm getting proper sleep, I'm actually moving most of the time, and I'm not eating foods to which I'm intolerant or which give me a so-called mild allergic reaction. So all of those things mean that the scale would go down, quite frankly, which in my case is slightly necessary, but I'll talk about Regain in another video. For the moment, it is literally a more positive and I would say a more positive incentive to actually get where I need to be, and a byproduct of that is managing my weight. And actually my quality of life really improves, and it makes it much easier for me to say no thank you when people are trying to push various things which are not helping me into my plate or into my vision. Okay, so the second thing is a bit more technical, because again, I've been really struggling all of last year, and I couldn't work out what was going on at all. And because we moved, I didn't really have a regular GP, which is absolutely awful because it's been my GP helping me to manage my hypothyroidism as well as my obesity, that 1 in every 90 days that you go and see them. And so this time around, I was advised to go see an endocrinologist who had never seen me before, doesn't know my history, doesn't know all of the different supplements that I take in order to get out of bed and function and perform every single day. I managed to persuade her to give a full battery of tests, apart from the ones that they're refusing to currently because of actually its pricing and reimbursement issues in Belgium. And when it came back as very low inflammation markers, very low cortisol, she actually said, well, it must be in your head. To put it bluntly, I was shocked, because if she had looked at my previous markers, both for my hypothyroidism as well as inflammation, she would have seen that because I changed my diet and supplementation, all of my inflammation was going down very quickly indeed. I would rather know for my health that my inflammation is at a minimum, because it tells me that I'm able to function better, both in terms of my internal system processes as well as externally. And yet again, from an obesity perspective, less inflammation equals less volume equals less weight and significantly less skewed biological processes going on there. The final thing I want to mention very briefly is actually nutrient bioavailability versus calories. Now, we've all heard that calories are not born equal. Very true, and extremely true for people like me who have gastric issues, and I would say absorption issues, either because of an operation or because of the other ongoing chronic conditions and diseases. So people with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, or people like me with hypothyroidism, and whatever else is going on in terms of intolerances. I don't actually count calories anymore because we are encouraged to eat low calorie or diet, this, that, and the other. Actually, there are a lot of added fillers and sweeteners which adversely affect me. So, with the various conditions and diseases that I'm living with. So, for instance, because I need to get in a certain amount of protein every day, but I can't eat dairy because I actually have an allergy to casein, the protein in dairy, and also in eggs. So a lot of people were saying, well, eat soy instead because that's really high protein. Actually, soy stops absorption of my thyroid medication. So to me, what I'm looking for every time in my food is what's the bioavailability so that I up my nutrients, and that helps me to eat smart as opposed to eat less. And most importantly, the reason that it helps me to eat smart is because it's helping my inflammation go down. It's helping my brain to function properly, no brain fog because of the inflammation. It's helping me not feel depressed or massive mood swings because of what's going into my body that makes my body attack my systems, all of these things. So I think in a nutshell, long video, apologies. I'm sure I'll chop this up when it goes live. But I just wanted to say that thinking more about quality of life measurements gets us there. Thinking about the number on the scale day in, day out is anxiety causing and not necessarily healthy, because weight doesn't tell you what nutrients are in you and how well you're actually performing in life. Okay, that's me over and out, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys in a week. If not, I'll see you around town anyway. Wave, say hello, and all these good things. Thank you. Bye.